Hello, my name is Alexandra. And this is the Idea Buffet Podcast.
Today, we're tackling something that comes up a lot.
A really popular one, yeah.
How to speak English fluently and, with real confidence. It's definitely a big goal for many people listening. Our source for this deep dive is a YouTube video. It's called 5 Easy Steps to Speak in English Fluently and Confidently English Speaking Tricks Beer Biceps. And it features Ranveer.
Right.
And what's really interesting, I think, is that Ranveer says up front he was, quote, pretty poor at languages. Like, that wasn't his strong suit.
Which makes his approach even more intriguing.
Exactly. But he says he got good at English and even Hindi later on by focusing on clarity of thought and these sort of simple tricks.
It's definitely not the usual study grammar for hours kind of story.
No, not at all. It really challenges the typical ways people think about learning a language, doesn't it?
It really does. And it taps right into that desire we all have for learning things quickly, effectively, without it feeling like, a total drag. Ranveer's method seems to ditch a lot of the conventional stuff and instead focuses on making it enjoyable. And this idea of internal clarity being key.
So that's our mission today. Let's unpack these 5 steps he talks about. The whole idea seems to be making it easy for yourself.
Sounds good. Let's get into it.
Okay, so step 1. This one might actually surprise you. He calls it the fun part.
The fun part, okay.
Yeah. So forget the usual advice like, force yourself to watch the news in English or sign up for these really formal classes or just memorize lists of words.
Which is what most people tell you to do.
Right. He basically says ditch that and prioritize making it fun. Enjoyment first.
Okay, so how does he suggest doing that? What are the fun options?
He gives 3 main ideas for daily practice. Says aim for at least 15 minutes, maybe up to an hour, whatever works.
Right.
First is easy video content. He specifically mentions talking cartoons because the language is usually quite simple.
Makes sense. Like for kids, but useful.
Exactly. Or if you like sports, he suggests cricket commentary. He names people like Rahul Dravid, Sourav Ganguly, Harsha Bogle, guys known for clear speaking.
So finding something you'd watch anyway, but in English.
Precisely. Option 2 is audio content. So if you prefer listening, maybe radio or podcasts.
Okay.
And the third one is simple reading. He actually suggests picking up an ICSE 10th standard textbook.
Oh, interesting. Like a school textbook.
Yeah, apparently they have good, simple short stories in that curriculum in India. So the main point is find something you actually like doing.
And the why behind this fun approach. I mean, it really makes you think about how our brains actually learn best, doesn't it?
Totally.
It's less about force-feeding information, more about engagement, like real motivation from within. Finding what clicks for you.
Yeah, when it feels like play, not work.
Exactly. Your brain's just more open to it then. Makes it stick better, too.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense for building a habit. But then what? Once you're doing the fun stuff regularly, where do you go?
Good question. Leads right into his next point.
Yeah. Step number 2, observe English from the outside.
Observe from the outside. Okay.
And this is where it gets maybe a bit counterintuitive again. He says, at this stage, it's not about learning fancy new words or boosting your vocabulary count.
Okay, so what is the focus then?
Sentence construction. Purely how sentences are built.
The structure.
Yeah. So as you're doing your fun watching, listening, or reading from step 1, you need to actively notice things. Make a mental note whenever you spot a sentence structure that's different from how you would normally say it or how you think it in your native language.
Spotting the differences.
Right. And then the trick is you practice saying that new construction to yourself, like repeat it 10 times.
Drilling the pattern.
Yeah, it sounds simple, but it's about like reprogramming how you naturally form sentences in English.
Okay, I see. So if step 1 is about enjoying the input, step 2 is about analyzing the structure of that input. Connecting this to the bigger picture then, it's really about getting the foundation right. Understanding the language's natural rhythm, its flow, before you just start piling on more words.
Right, because knowing lots of words doesn't help if you can't string them together naturally.
Precisely. This way, when you do learn more words later, you can express yourself much more organically, more confidently too.
That makes sense. Okay, so you're having fun, you're observing sentence structure. What's next? What happens when you actually try to use these new structures?
Well, that's where the psychological aspect comes in.
Right. Step number 3, put your ego on the side. This one. This one probably hits home for a lot of people.
Can I imagine so? Fear of judgment is huge in language learning.
Definitely. And Ranveer talks about this cultural thing, especially in India, where being good at English is often linked with like how intelligent people think you are.
Yeah, that's a real pressure.
So people end up judging each other's English quite harshly sometimes. But here's his insight, which I found really powerful.
What?
He says, when someone makes fun of your English, often they're actually just showing their own insecurity about it.
That's an interesting take. Projecting their own fears.
Yeah. So his advice is embrace the mistakes. You have to make them. Because when you make a mistake and maybe feel a bit embarrassed, you remember it. And that's how you actually learn and improve.
It's true. Mistakes are data points for learning.
So the core message is stop caring so much about what other people think. That fear, that ego, it just holds you back.
You know, what's fascinating here is how this step just zooms out from language learning.
How do you mean?
Well, it becomes about personal growth in general, doesn't it? It raises that bigger question. How often does our pride, our gamond, as he might put it, get in the way of us learning anything new? Or becoming better versions of ourselves in any part of life?
That's a really good point. It's not just about English at all.
Not at all. It's a life lesson wrapped in language advice.
Okay, so you put your ego aside, you're willing to make mistakes. But how do you actually get the thoughts out clearly? Sometimes you just get stuck.
Right. The words won't come, or your mind feels jumbled.
Exactly. Which brings us to step number 4. Chase clarity of thought.
Clarity of thought. Okay.
Ranveer points out these common roadblocks. Like you're worrying about log kaya kahinj, what will people say?
That fear again.
Or you get stuck mentally translating word for word from your first language, which just sounds
The
awkward.
translation trap, yeah. Very common.
Or you're searching for that one perfect word and your whole sentence just grinds to a halt. Your mind feels cluttered.
So what's the solution he offers for this mental clutter?
This one might also seem a bit unexpected for language advice. He says, meditation.
Meditation, really?
Yeah, he really emphasizes how powerful it is for just clearing your mind, grounding your thoughts, making them actually clear before you try to speak. Even says meditation improves like every single life skill out there. So its benefits go way beyond just talking.
That's quite a claim, but it's intriguing. It connects internal state to external expression.
Right.
I mean, it raises an important question about where clear communication really starts. If your thoughts are all over the place internally, how can you possibly articulate them clearly?
Good point. You can't.
So Ranveer seems to be suggesting that achieving that internal clarity, perhaps through something like meditation, is a direct path to better communication. Not just language, but how your whole mind functions.
Makes you think differently about practicing speaking, doesn't it? It's not just about mouth muscles. It's about mental state.
Absolutely. Mind clarity first.
Okay. And that leads us to the final step, step 5. And this one feels quite profound, actually. It's stop giving English that much importance.
Lessen its importance. After all this focus on learning it.
Yeah, it sounds contradictory, but hear him out. He calls the overemphasis on English a huge flaw in Indian society.
Okay. Why does he say that?
He links it back to the legacy of, 200 years of British rule, where English became associated with power, status, and intelligence.
The historical baggage.
Right. And he contrasts this with other countries. Like in Germany, people are proud to speak German. In Japan, they're proud of Japanese. He argues Indians should feel that same pride in Marathi, Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Sanskrit, all the native languages.
So it's about cultural pride.
Exactly. He basically reassures you, look, if you're not perfectly fluent in English, it's really not that big a deal. Don't beat yourself up about it.
Yeah.
He even says if you get stuck speaking English, it's totally okay. Just finish your sentence in Hindi or whatever your native language is to communicate the idea.
Wow. Okay, so take the pressure off completely.
Pretty much. It's a tool, not a measure of your worth.
You know what's fascinating here is how this last point really moves beyond just language skills. It touches on something deeper. Cultural identity, self-acceptance. It forces us to ask, especially now in our globalized world, how do we balance needing practical skills like English with genuine pride in our own heritage, our own languages that our ancestors spoke?
That's a really important balance to strike.
It's a powerful reminder not to lose sight of our roots while we're reaching for new branches, so to speak.
So let's maybe try and wrap this up. The core message from Ranveer through these 5 steps seems to be, well, first, make learning English fun. enjoy the process.
Yeah, absolutely key.
Second, focus on sentence structure before just cramming vocabulary. Get the flow right.
Get the foundation.
Third, ditch the ego. Mistakes are good. They're how you learn. Don't worry about
We're
judgment.
for growth. Yeah.
Fourth, work on internal clarity. A clear mind leads to clear speech. Meditation might help.
The mental game.
And finally, fifth, put English in perspective. It's useful, yes, but don't give it so much importance that it overshadows pride in your own culture and language.
A really balanced perspective overall.
Yeah. And his direct call to action, the quote from the source is, "You should be proud of your own culture, your own language."
A strong finish.
So this whole deep dive, it really encourages us to think beyond just how we learn a language, doesn't it?
Definitely. It makes us consider the why. Why are we learning it? And what does confidence really mean? Is it just about perfect grammar, or is it something more?
Something more about self-expression, maybe.
Exactly. Self-expression, self-acceptance. So the final thought maybe for you, the listener, is this. What does it truly mean for you to be proud of your country, proud of the language your forefathers spoke, even as you're learning new ones like English? How do you hold both?